Now, many fighters have quit in fights for many different reasons, right? But when you look at the way Duran quit against Sugar Ray Leonard, it made Duran psychologically look like a weak fighter at that time, right? And if you correlate the way Duran always acted, when he's seen a fighter act relaxed or cocky, like I said, when, Benitez came over and tried to give him dap, the reason why Duran didn't want to give him dap is because he was such a sore loser. He was so upset that Benitez, he had all this confidence in the world when they were fighting, and then he actually delivered and he actually won. The reason why Duran couldn't stand Sugar Ray Leonard is because of his superstardom, because Duran was always jealous of his status, Sugar Ray Leonard. He hated the fact that he was the poster boy. He was considered pound for pound the best fighter in the world. He was making commercials, and he was the boxer that America fell in love with, the gold medalist, etc., etc. Duran was a very jealous, insecure, sore fucking loser. And I don't understand how the fuck people can fucking defend the shit out of Duran, talking about how great he was and how much they personally love him. But at the same time, you hate Floyd Mayweather because he flashes money and he talks big shit. Ricardo Mayorga is another one, right? Cussing boxers out at the press conference, trying to start fights, talking about sleeping with their wife, sleeping with their mom, saying whatever disrespectful thing he could possibly say. But guess what? All them fans who claim they hate Floyd Mayweather, at least the majority of them, they love the shit out of Mayorga. I know, because I used to talk to people all the time who used to praise Mayorga when he was running through his 15 minutes of fame. But you know what we call that though, right? A motherfucking double standard. And it just goes to prove that it's never been about Floyd Mayweather's personality. Not for everyone, but I'm just saying for the vast majority of people who hate Floyd, it never really was that much about his personality. It was just about the fact that they wanted another person to be on top. They wanted another person to be on the top and be confident and talking shit. They just didn't want that guy to be on top. So this pretty much concludes Floyd Mayweather's career versus Duran's career. Floyd Mayweather's opponents versus Duran's opponents. Mayweather's legendary status versus Duran's legendary status. Duran losing to all of the top-notch fighters of his era and saying that he's greater than the new undefeated fighter of his era, that's as ridiculous as saying that Zab Judah is one of the greatest fighters of all times because he lost to all the greatest fighters of this era. I mean, I bet a lot of people didn't even think about that. Did you think of all the fighters that Zab Judah lost to? I mean, he lost to Costa Tszyu. He lost to Floyd Mayweather. He lost to Danny Garcia. He lost to Miguel Cotto. And just like Roberto Duran, in between all of those losses against great name opponents, Zab Judah, he has some good wins against, good champions or good fighters like Lucas Matisse, like Corey Spinks, like Vernon Paris, fighters that he was supposed to actually lose to. Well, at least Vernon Paris he was supposed to lose to, very similar to Duran, when he was probably supposed to lose to people like Barkley or Davey Moore. So the point I'm making is, if we fast forward 20 years, in the future, right, and there's some new pound-for-pound champion that everyone is already comparing, to the fighters of yesteryear, comparing them to Floyd and this person and that person, you would be a damn fool to sit here and say, oh man, well that motherfucker, he ain't got nothing against Zab Judah. Zab Judah is one of the greats. He fought against Costa Tszyu, Floyd Mayweather, etc. this and blah blah that and blah blah this, It doesn't make sense. The point is, Roberto Duran he's a great fighter, but he ain't on the level of Floyd Mayweather. Let me say another thing in contrast to both fighters. Well, since Duran supporters, they love to talk about how Duran, he faced so much better competition, etc., etc. Let's talk about who Duran lost to, Because Duran, he didn't just lose to the big names. He didn't just lose to the best fighters of his era like Hagler, Hearns. Duran, he also lost to bums, right? I mean, while Duran had over 75 fights, he was losing to guys like Kirkland Lang, who was 23 with 3 losses, who had previously been knocked out twice before he beat Duran. And after Kirkland Lang beat Duran, he got knocked out 6 more times, right? And what about Robbie Sims, another bum his record was 26-4 when he fought against the great Duran, who had like 76 wins at the time. Okay? The type of opponents that Duran lost to, Floyd Mayweather would beat with his hands tied behind his back. And we all know this. So, like I said, you guys, Duran supporters, you guys could send me the most ridiculous message. You could send me all of that fucking hate. You could do all that crying, but it ain't gonna change the motherfucking truth. Okay? It ain't gonna change the truth. So anyway, guys, when it comes to comparing Floyd Mayweather to the fighters of yesteryear, that's 1 down, and we still got a couple more to go. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I'm on to the next one, guys.